Hi everyone. Welcome to English Story School. Today we dive into the story of Elon Musk and disclose his secret power of impossibility. Let's start the first chapter. Chapter 1. The question that changes everything. Have you ever found yourself staring at the night sky, feeling its vastness seep into your soul, and wondered, why not me? Why can't I be the one to turn dreams into reality and the impossible into possible? That question, deceptively simple yet profoundly challenging, struck me like a lightning bolt one sleepless night. And I can almost picture it striking Elon Musk in a similar way, igniting the kind of fire that only a restless mind can fuel. Think about it. Who truly dares to imagine building rockets, colonizing Mars, and rewriting humanity's narrative unless they've embraced the impossible with every fiber of their being? Here's the thing about impossibility. It's not the unscalable wall we often see it as. It's a door waiting for someone courageous enough to turn the handle. Musk wasn't content to just stare at the stars like most of us do, weaving dreams that fade with the dawn. No. He decided the stars weren't meant to be admired from a distance. They were meant to be explored, touched, and even conquered. But let me tell you something. Great stories, the ones that truly move us, never begin with triumph. They don't start with applause or accolades. They start in the shadows, wrapped in doubt, drenched in fear, and accompanied by a chorus of voices saying, "This is impossible. Don't even try." Musk's story is no exception. It didn't start with the brilliance of rockets or the grandeur of Martian dreams. It started with failure, with the kind of failure that makes you question everything you thought you were capable of. I want you to imagine for a moment what that must feel like. To have a dream so bold, so utterly audacious, that it borders on madness. To look around and see skepticism in every pair of eyes staring back at you. People didn't just doubt Musk's vision, they mocked it. Rockets built by a private company? A reusable spacecraft? Colonizing Mars? Even seasoned experts called him delusional. And yet, there's something magical about the way the human spirit responds to impossibility. For some, it's a roadblock. For others, like Musk, it's a challenge. A dare from the universe itself. He didn't see impossibility as a sign to stop. He saw it as an invitation to push harder. What's remarkable is how this vision didn't come from a place of arrogance, but from a profound sense of responsibility. Musk looked at humanity's trajectory and saw something terrifying: stagnation. A world where innovation was stifled, and the stars remained forever out of reach. He once said, "There are really two paths. One path is we stay on Earth forever, and there will be some eventual extinction event. The alternative is to become a spacefaring civilization." Now imagine carrying the weight of that belief. The belief that you are one of the few standing between humanity and its extinction. It's not just ambition, it's purpose. And that purpose doesn't come without its sacrifices. Musk didn't just invest his money. He invested his life, his reputation, and his very sanity into a dream most people couldn't even begin to fathom. I can almost picture him during those early days of SpaceX, sitting in a small, unassuming warehouse in California. There were no guarantees, no safety nets, just a handful of engineers who shared his crazy dream, poring over designs and prototypes, fueled by an almost reckless optimism. The first rocket, Falcon 1, wasn't a product of luxury or abundant resources. It was built with grit, sleepless nights, and an unshakable belief that failure wasn't the end. It was just part of the process. But here's the truth. Failure hurts. When Falcon 1 failed its first launch, I imagine the sting of disappointment ran deep. And then it failed again. And again. By the third failure, SpaceX was on the brink of collapse. The money was gone. The ridicule grew louder. And I can't help but wonder, did Musk ever lie awake at night questioning himself? Did he ever feel the weight of every "I told you so"? Yet, this is where the story takes a turn. Because when faced with the impossible, most people give up. But Musk, he leaned in. He didn't let failure define him or his vision. Instead, he used it as fuel. Fuel to build something better, stronger, and more resilient. And this is the essence of the question that changes everything. What if the impossible isn't a barrier, but a catalyst? What if instead of fearing it, we embrace it? Musk didn't just answer this question, he lived it. He showed the world that impossibility isn't a reason to stop, it's a reason to start. When you think about it, the story of Elon Musk and SpaceX isn't just about rockets or Mars. It's about the power of asking yourself, why not me? It's about daring to imagine, to fail, and to rise again. And as I stand here telling you this story, I can't help but wonder, what's your impossible? What's the dream you're too scared to chase? Because here's the truth. The stars aren't as far away as they seem. They're waiting, just like impossibility, for someone. Chapter 2. The beginning of an impossible dream. Let me take you back to 2002. Elon Musk had just sold PayPal for $1.5 billion, a fortune most of us can't even begin to comprehend. At that moment, Musk could have easily settled into a life of luxury, buying islands, yachts, or living out a serene, effortless existence. But here's what sets him apart. Comfort wasn't his destination. To him, it wasn't the dream. It was a trap, a dead end disguised as success. Musk wasn't interested in a life of ease. He was interested in legacy, in shaping humanity's future in ways no one had dared to imagine. Instead of resting on his achievements, Musk did something unthinkable. He poured his money, his time, and his soul into a vision so outrageous, so utterly ridiculous, that it made seasoned experts laugh out loud. Space exploration? Private rockets? Colonizing Mars? These weren't ideas meant for entrepreneurs. They were the stuff of governments with billion-dollar budgets and decades of research. Musk wasn't just stepping out of his comfort zone. He was leaping into uncharted territory, where failure wasn't just possible, it was probable. And yet, Musk held on to a belief that most of us shy away from admitting. He believed that the greatest achievements in history, the ones that changed the course of humanity, always begin as impossible dreams. Think about that for a second. The first airplane, the first light bulb, the first computer, each of these was considered absurd before it became inevitable. And Musk was determined to make his mark on that list, no matter how impossible it seemed. That's how SpaceX was born. Not in a shiny, state-of-the-art facility with unlimited resources, but in a small, scrappy warehouse in California. There were no guarantees, no safety nets, just a handful of engineers who were as audacious, or as crazy, as Musk himself. These weren't people chasing a paycheck. They were chasing history. Together, they embarked on a journey fueled by sleepless nights, endless revisions, and the kind of determination that borders on obsession. Their first project was Falcon 1, a rocket that would eventually make history. But in the beginning, it was nothing more than a collection of parts, ideas, and dreams held together by grit and sheer willpower. Unlike NASA or the European Space Agency, SpaceX didn't have billions to throw at problems. They had to be creative. They had to do more with less, finding innovative solutions to challenges that seemed insurmountable. But let's not sugarcoat it. Those early days were brutal. When Falcon 1 failed its first launch, the disappointment was palpable. The second failure hit even harder, and the third was devastating. By then, SpaceX was on the brink of collapse. The money was running out. The ridicule was deafening. He's just a tech guy, they said. What does he know about rockets? I can only imagine the weight Musk carried during those moments. The sleepless nights spent questioning every decision. The pressure of knowing that his entire fortune, his reputation, and the dreams of his team rested on his shoulders. Most of us, faced with that kind of adversity, would retreat. We tell ourselves it wasn't meant to be, that the critics were right, that the dream was too big. But Musk? He leaned into the storm. This is where his story takes on a kind of poetic beauty. Because it's not the successes that define us, it's how we face our failures. Musk didn't just endure failure, he embraced it. He dissected every mistake, every miscalculation, and used it as a stepping stone to something greater. For him, failure wasn't the end of the road. It was a crucial part of the journey. Think about the courage it takes to keep going after 3 catastrophic failures. To stand before your team, your investors, and the world and say, "We're not done yet." That kind of resolve isn't just rare, it's extraordinary. Musk wasn't driven by ego or even ambition. He was driven by purpose. He believed that humanity's destiny was in the stars, and he wasn't going to let anything, not even failure, stand in his way. The team at SpaceX mirrored that determination. They weren't just engineers, they were dreamers. They believed in Musk's vision, even when the odds were stacked against them. Together, they rebuilt Falcon 1, learning from every setback, refining every detail. They didn't just aim to succeed. They aimed to prove that the impossible could be achieved with enough determination, creativity, and resilience. I want you to pause and think about that for a moment. Imagine being part of a team that knows failure is likely but chooses to try anyway. Imagine the long nights, the relentless testing, the quiet moments of doubt. And then imagine the hope, the unshakable belief that if they could just get it right, they could change the world. This phase of Musk's journey is a testament to the power of persistence. It's a reminder that dreams don't come with a roadmap. They come with obstacles, doubts, and failures that test your resolve at every turn. And it's in facing those challenges that greatness is forged. So, what can we learn from this? That the beginning of an impossible dream is never easy. It's messy, it's painful, and it's full of uncertainty. But it's also exhilarating, transformative, and worth every moment of struggle. Musk's story teaches us that the impossible isn't something to fear, it's something to chase. Because when you dare to dream big, you don't just change your own life, you change the world. Chapter 3. The Breakthrough. The fourth launch. It wasn't just another test. It was a moment that would decide the future of SpaceX and Elon Musk's audacious dream. Everything was on the line. Years of relentless effort, sleepless nights, personal fortune, and the faith of a team that had refused to give up. To say it was a make-or-break moment doesn't even begin to capture the magnitude of the stakes. This wasn't just about a rocket. It was about proving that the impossible wasn't as unreachable as everyone thought. The odds were stacked against them. After 3 consecutive failures, skepticism loomed like a storm cloud over the company. Musk himself admitted later that SpaceX was out of money. There were no safety nets left, no backup plans. This launch had to succeed, or it would mean the end, not just for SpaceX, but for the belief that private companies could lead humanity's charge into the stars. And then it happened. Falcon 1 soared into the sky, cutting through the atmosphere with a precision and grace that must have felt like a miracle to those watching. I can almost see the tension in that control room, the collective holding of breath as the rocket climbed higher and higher. When it finally reached orbit, the eruption of joy was palpable. There must have been shouts, cheers, and tears of disbelief. For the first time, the impossible wasn't just a dream. It was reality. This wasn't just a victory. It was a vindication. It was proof that failure isn't the end of the story, but the foundation upon which success is built. For Musk and his team, this moment wasn't just about reaching orbit. It was about proving that resilience, determination, and innovation could overcome even the most daunting obstacles. But the story doesn't end there. In many ways, this was just the beginning. The success of Falcon 1 wasn't a conclusion. It was the spark that ignited a revolution. Musk and SpaceX didn't stop at achieving what others thought was impossible. They used it as a stepping stone to redefine what humanity could achieve. Their next breakthrough came in the form of Falcon 9, a rocket designed not just to reach space but to return. Think about that for a moment. Rockets, traditionally single-use machines, had always been discarded after their mission, costing billions of dollars each time. But Musk asked a question no one else dared to. Why can't we build a rocket that can land and be reused? The idea was revolutionary, and to many absurd. Yet SpaceX made it a reality. When Falcon 9's boosters returned to Earth and landed upright for the first time, it was like watching a scene from a sci-fi movie come to life. I remember seeing that footage for the first time, those boosters descending gracefully onto the landing pads. It sent chills down my spine. It wasn't just a technical achievement. It was a moment that redefined what was possible in space exploration. But let's take a moment to appreciate what this breakthrough truly meant. It wasn't just about saving money, though that was a game changer in itself. It was about accessibility. By reducing the cost of space travel, SpaceX opened the door for a future where space exploration wasn't just the domain of governments and billionaires, but a possibility for humanity as a whole. Falcon 9 wasn't just a rocket. It was a symbol of what can happen when we refuse to let failure define us, when we push boundaries and dare to ask, what if? It showed us that progress isn't about playing it safe. It's about taking risks, learning from setbacks, and constantly striving for something greater. Imagine the ripple effect of this achievement. Companies around the world began to rethink their approach to innovation. Space agencies, long bound by bureaucracy and tradition, were forced to adapt to the new reality Musk had created. And for ordinary people like us, it was a moment of inspiration. A reminder that even the wildest dreams can come true if we're willing to chase them with everything we have. But let's not forget the human side of this story. The men and women of SpaceX weren't just engineers and scientists. They were dreamers. They were people who had put their lives on hold, sacrificing time with their families, their health, and even their financial security to be part of something extraordinary. When Falcon 9's boosters landed for the first time, it wasn't just a technical triumph. It was a deeply personal victory for everyone who had poured their heart and soul into the project. And Musk, he wasn't standing on the sidelines, watching from a distance. He was in the trenches with his team, sharing their triumphs and their failures. That's what makes this story so compelling. It's not just about the technology or the rockets. It's about the people. The ones who dared to dream, who refused to give up, and who proved that the impossible is only impossible until someone makes it happen. This breakthrough wasn't just a milestone for SpaceX. It was a turning point for humanity. It was a moment that reminded us of our potential, of the incredible things we can achieve when we dare to dream big and work tirelessly to turn those dreams into reality. And as I think about that historic launch, about the sight of Falcon 9's boosters landing upright for the first time, I can't help but feel a sense of awe, not just at the achievement itself, but at what it represents. It's a reminder that the breakthroughs we seek aren't out of reach. They're waiting for us to take that first step, to face failure head-on, and to keep pushing forward no matter what. The story of SpaceX's breakthrough is more than just a tale of rockets and orbits. It's a story of resilience, of the power of belief, and of the extraordinary things that happen when we refuse to let the impossible hold us back. Chapter 4, The Bigger Picture. But here's the thing about Elon Musk. He doesn't stop. Because for him, impossibility isn't a destination. It's an ever-expanding frontier. One victory, no matter how monumental, isn't enough to satisfy his relentless drive. The success of Falcon 9 and its groundbreaking reusability could have been the pinnacle of his career, the moment where he sat back, accepted his accolades, and let history do the talking. But Musk doesn't see triumph as a stopping point. It's fuel for the next challenge. Today, SpaceX isn't just a private space company. It's a force that's reshaping the way we think about humanity's place in the universe. It's launching satellites that bring internet access to the remotest corners of the globe. It's partnering with NASA to carry astronauts to the International Space Station, a task once thought impossible for a private company. And perhaps most audaciously of all, it's building Starship, a spacecraft not just designed to visit Mars, but to enable humanity to live there. Take a moment to let that sink in. Not just visiting Mars, living there, breathing its air, cultivating its soil, building homes and schools and cities on a planet that has never known life. It sounds like something out of science fiction, but Musk and his team are turning that fiction into a blueprint for reality. Of course, the road to Mars is anything but smooth. Every step of the way, SpaceX has faced setbacks that would crush most companies and most people. Test flights have ended in fiery explosions. Timelines have been delayed again and again. Critics have scoffed, calling Musk's vision overly ambitious, even delusional. But here's the thing. SpaceX doesn't see failure as a reason to stop. They see it as a reason to try harder. One of the most iconic examples of this resilience came during the early tests of Starship. The spacecraft, massive and gleaming like a silver bullet, was designed to be the cornerstone of Musk's Mars mission. Watching those tests was both thrilling and terrifying. When a prototype exploded on the test pad, skeptics were quick to pounce, declaring the project doomed. But Musk, with his characteristic calm, tweeted something remarkable. We learn a lot today. Think about that mindset for a second. Where most people would see disaster, Musk sees data. Where most people would feel defeat, he feels determination. This isn't just perseverance. It's a redefinition of what success means. Because for Musk, success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about using failure as a stepping stone to something greater. And that's what makes this journey so much bigger than rockets or Mars. It's not just about technological achievements or milestones. It's about a mindset, a belief that the impossible is worth chasing, not because it's easy, but because it's hard. Musk has said many times that humanity needs to become a multi-planetary species to ensure its survival. But I think his vision goes even deeper than that. This isn't just Elon Musk's story. It's our story. It's the story of humanity refusing to settle for limits, of daring to ask, what's next? Musk's dream of colonizing Mars isn't just about escaping Earth's potential dangers. It's about giving all of us permission to dream bigger, to believe that our future doesn't have to be defined by fear, scarcity, or boundaries. But let's not romanticize it too much. The challenges ahead are immense. Building a sustainable colony on Mars requires solving problems we can't even fully comprehend yet. How do we grow food on a planet where nothing grows? How do we protect ourselves from radiation, or create breathable air, or maintain psychological health in such an alien environment? And yet every step forward, no matter how small, brings us closer to answers. SpaceX's work on Starship isn't just about building a spacecraft. It's about solving these problems piece by piece, test by test, failure by failure. And in doing so, they're not just preparing for Mars. They're teaching us lessons that could transform life here on Earth. For instance, think about the advances in renewable energy, materials science, and communication that have come from Musk projects. These aren't just technologies for the future. They're changing the way we live right now. The reusable rockets that made space travel more affordable, they're paving the way for a future where accessing space could be as routine as flying across the ocean. But perhaps the most inspiring part of this journey is the sheer audacity of it all. Musk isn't just challenging the status quo, he's redefining it. He's proving that it's okay to fail, to dream outrageously, to chase goals that seem out of reach. And he's doing it in a way that invites the rest of us to join him. When you look at Musk's vision, you realize it's not just about him or SpaceX. It's about humanity stepping into its potential. It's about embracing the bigger picture, seeing ourselves not as passengers on a fragile planet, but as pioneers with the ability to shape our destiny. So, what does this mean for us? It means that no matter how big or small our dreams may seem, they matter. Whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, a teacher, or a student, Musk's story is a reminder that the impossible is only impossible until someone decides to make it happen. It's easy to look at someone like Musk and think, I could never do that. But the truth is, every great achievement starts with a simple decision: to try, to take the first step, no matter how uncertain, and to keep moving forward, no matter how many times you fall. This is the bigger picture Musk has been painting all along. It's not just about Mars or rockets. It's about showing us what we're capable of when we dare to dream. And as we watch SpaceX continue to push the boundaries of what's possible, we're reminded that the future isn't something that happens to us. It's something we create, one bold step at a time. Chapter 5: The Power of Impossibility. So here's the truth. The impossible isn't some untamed mythical beast lurking in the shadows, waiting to devour us. It's not the villain of our stories. The impossible is, in fact, a mirror, a reflection of every fear, every doubt, and every limitation we impose on ourselves. It stares back at us, not to intimidate, but to challenge us, to ask us if we're willing to break free from the shackles of what's comfortable, what's familiar, and what's safe. When you look at Elon Musk's journey, it's clear that he didn't conquer the impossible because he had all the answers. Far from it. He didn't start SpaceX as a seasoned aerospace engineer. He wasn't a lifelong rocket scientist. What he did have, though, was an unshakable belief that the questions were worth pursuing. And that belief, simple yet profound, became the foundation for one of the most ambitious endeavors humanity has ever witnessed. This is what makes Musk's story so powerful. It's not a tale of one extraordinary man or one revolutionary company. It's a story about all of us. Because the truth is, we all have the power to challenge what seems unshakable. The power to question the rules we've been taught to accept. The power to dream, not just of reaching the stars, but of rewriting the very fabric of what we think is possible. But here's the catch. Challenging the impossible isn't just about grand gestures or monumental achievements. It's about the small, everyday decisions we make. It's about taking that first, terrifying step toward a dream we've kept locked away. Whether it's starting a business, chasing a creative passion, or simply daring to live authentically, the impossible isn't a barrier. It's a bridge waiting to be crossed. Imagine, for a moment, what your life would look like if you stopped running from impossibility and embraced it instead. Picture yourself facing that mirror, not with fear, but with curiosity. What would you see? What would you discover about yourself if you allowed the questions to guide you, even when the answers felt out of reach? When Musk looked into that mirror, he didn't see the limitations others tried to impose on him. He didn't see the ridicule, the skepticism, or the repeated failures as reasons to stop. Instead, he saw possibilities. He saw a future where humanity wasn't confined to one fragile planet, but was a multi-planetary species, capable of thriving among the stars. Think about the courage it takes to hold on to that kind of vision in the face of relentless doubt. It's easy to admire Musk now, after the successes, the breakthroughs, and the headlines. But the real lesson lies in the moments when he had nothing but his belief to hold on to. The moments when failure wasn't just a possibility, it was reality. And yet, that's the beauty of the impossible. It doesn't just test us, it transforms us. Every setback, every mistake, every step into the unknown molds us into something stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Musk's journey shows us that failure isn't the enemy. It's a teacher, a stepping stone, a necessary part of any path worth walking. What I find most inspiring about this story is that it's not just about rockets, Mars, or even Musk himself. It's about the ripple effect. The way one person's willingness to challenge the impossible can inspire others to do the same. Because when we see someone like Musk defy the odds, it reminds us of our own potential. It gives us permission to dream bigger, try harder, and rise again after every fall. So, where does this leave us? For me, the takeaway is simple yet profound. The impossible isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. It's an ally, not an adversary. And the power to conquer it lies in each of us, waiting to be unleashed. As I sit here, reflecting on Musk's journey and what it means for the rest of us, I can't help but feel a sense of awe, not just at the achievements themselves, but at the sheer audacity it takes to even attempt them. Musk's story isn't just a testament to human ingenuity, it's a call to action. A reminder that we don't have to settle for the world as it is. We have the power to imagine something greater and the courage to pursue it, no matter how impossible it seems. So let me leave you with this question. What would your life look like if you stopped letting impossibility dictate your choices? What could you achieve if you embraced the challenges, the doubts, and the unknowns with the same determination that Musk and his team have shown? The stars aren't as far away as they seem. The impossible isn't as unreachable as we've been led to believe. All it takes is the willingness to ask, what if? And when you're ready to take that first step, remember this. It's not about having all the answers. It's about believing the questions are worth pursuing. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.